For a long time, the truth about Neanderthal DNA remained hidden inside our own history. But recent scientific breakthroughs revealed a much more complex genetic connection than we thought.
This evolutionary tree clearly charts exactly where our ancestors split from the Neanderthals.
We still carry the genetic legacy of our ancient ancestors. Today. This distinct lineage is known scientifically as Homo neanderthalensis. They thrived for hundreds of thousands of years across harsh, icy landscapes.
For a long time, their entire existence was lost to the snows of time.
But did they really just completely disappear into oblivion?
In fact, they left us powerful genetic gifts, like upgraded immune systems.
So, who exactly were the Neanderthals, and what is our true connection to them?
We have to ask ourselves, why did they disappear? And what if they never did? When we think of Neanderthals, we often picture a brutal, simple-minded brute.
To truly understand them, we must look at the evidence left in their bones. Some Neanderthal genes relate to traits we see in modern aging populations, like modern joint issues and variations in bone density. When we examine their anatomy, their cranial capacity reveals a surprising truth. Their brain volume reached an average of 1,500 cubic centimeters. This is actually slightly larger than the average brain of a modern human today.
Far from being primitive, Neanderthals were highly skilled craftsmen who mastered complex tool-making. They also shared deep emotional bonds, being among the first to deliberately bury their dead,
leaving flowers behind as a final tribute to those they lost. They left behind profound expressions of culture, art, and complex daily life.
But if they were so advanced, why did they disappear while we survived?
Confronting harsh environments and rivalries, their survival was a constant struggle.
Our popular perception of them is often reduced to crude, violent tropes.
but the actual scientific data tells a far more complex evolutionary story.
Look closely at the timelines showing their sudden, dramatic population decline.
Simple mathematics show their numbers quickly dropping to zero.
But genetics tell us a completely different story about where they went.
30,000 years ago, their isolated populations began to fade across continents.
As the climate shifted drastically, survival became a brutal, daily struggle against the encroaching ice.
Until, eventually, the extreme cold caught up with them entirely.
But their story didn't end there, as modern genetics reveals a hidden connection.
Wait, look at this. The genetic data shows something completely unexpected.
It's like they were churning out copies of life, but the printer was about to break down. And just like that, they were effectively removed from the ultimate evolutionary group chat.
Left out of the loop, their numbers began to dwindle in isolation.
Was it climate change, deadly diseases, or competition that sealed their fate?
Modern geneticists are finally uncovering the formula behind their disappearance.
Another devastating factor was the introduction of new deadly diseases.
Modern humans brought pathogens that the Neanderthals had never encountered before. Without immunity, entire populations succumbed rapidly to these invisible killers.
Another compelling theory points directly to catastrophic changes in global climate.
The endless winter consumes the land, and the fires are dying.
As ice locked the world, their traditional migratory routes became entirely unpassable.
Some human populations developed incredible cultural and physiological adaptations to survive the bitter cold.
But global shifts and cosmic radiation constantly reshaped the entire planet's fragile biosphere.
Swings in global temperatures forced every hominid species to adapt quickly or face extinction.
Researchers point to shifting data, tracking severe changes over ancient eras. Ultimately, the evidence suggested it was simply the planet's fault. A weakening magnetic field left the globe completely vulnerable to cosmic forces.
But what exactly led to this evolutionary divergence? For thousands of years, Neanderthals and modern humans shared the landscape.
But modern humans possessed distinct social and community advantages. Recent genetic breakthroughs unlock the shared history written directly into our own DNA. Our ancestors walked these same paths, watching the fires of others from a distance.
As worlds changed, the spaces we held grew smaller and quieter.
Yet their genetic legacy helped construct the world we inhabit today. Some of us still carry pieces of their history inside our daily lives. Drawing a line between us and them is more complicated than it looks.
But as scientific discovery expanded, the dividing line between us began to blur. Researchers uncovered ancient remains that carried deep secrets in their genetic makeup,
revealing a direct branch connecting us to Neanderthals and Denisovans alike. Modern geneticists can now read the ancient DNA locked within our own timeline.
This connection stretches back through generations, spanning thousands of years.
Tracing all the way back to over 50,000 years ago.
Our ancestors spread across the globe, leaving traces in every population. But tracking this genetic map raises complex questions about our origins. What does this connection really mean for the modern human story? For a long time, public perception of Neanderthals was heavily distorted by outdated science.
Did our ancestors simply outcompete them? Or is there more to the story?
Around 40,000 years ago, distinct Neanderthals vanished from the fossil record.
As modern humans migrated, they encountered far more Neanderthals than previously assumed.
These two groups didn't just avoid each other, their territories overlapped extensively. This proximity led to peaceful interactions, interbreeding, and shared genetics.